Hi, I'm Sean Hammerle, Chief Operations Officer for OnQ Contact Center in Panama. I want to thank you all for being here and watching my presentation today, and I want to thank you and tell you it's an honor for our company to be a finalist for Best Crisis Management Campaign. OnQ is the only U.S. medical billing outsourcing contact center in Panama. We are headquartered in Santiago de Veraguas, which is in the center of the country, and we provide inbound and outbound medical billing patient services support. Our callers are dealing with life-changing events such as CT scans, oncology visits, or anesthesia, so our agents are taught to treat everyone like family. We service 15 of the largest medical billing companies in the U.S., including the two largest radiology billing groups in the country. We work with medical payments, we provide insurance updates, and we answer procedural questions. 90% of our workforce is working remotely in all 10 provinces. Due to COVID, we did have everybody working in the headquarters in Santiago, but since we went remote, 90+% of our employees are working from home all over the country, and we have less than 10% of our employees working in our office. Our niche is revenue cycle management support through technology and labor solutions, and our passion is building a winning family through service and innovation. Our core values are can-do attitude, value creation, and commitment to quality. And all of that falls under the operation, and as Chief Operations Officer, I'm responsible for designing and implementing and overseeing all the business operations of the company, including overseeing the best-in-class client experience, the highest quality assurance, engaged recruitment, top-notch training, and superior continuing education. And it's my job to deal with crises. And in this case, this past year, we obviously had a huge crisis with COVID, and it kind of took everyone upside down. But because of our vision and our plan and our ability to manage a crisis, I think we succeeded in providing a stable environment for our employees and a continued success for our clients. President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States of America, said the Chinese used two brushstrokes to write the word crisis. One brushstroke stands for danger, the other one for opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognize the opportunity. And in the case of COVID, that is how we've embraced how to handle this crisis. OnQ looked at this and understood that we had to be aware of the dangers of COVID, not only as far as our personal health and the health of our families, but the health of our company and the health of our clients and our relationships with those clients. How did we best serve those clients and our employees in crisis management? For my crisis management presentation, I am going to share with you how I believe 10 best practices can help you get through any crisis. Successfully maneuvering through a crisis can be likened to piloting a passenger plane. This past year, COVID brought global challenges that no one could have imagined. And crisis management starts with preparation as you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, kind of like getting ready to take off. And this journey that I'm going to take you through will run from creating a safe environment to motivation techniques and finally bringing you to a safe landing with high standards for company and growth. So I hope you're getting ready to board the OnQ Airways, and we're going to take off as I share with you our best practices. Best practice number one, prepare for takeoff. And yes, that is one of my employees who loves dressing up like a pilot and helping me with my presentation. But it means hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Last year in January, when I started hearing the news in China and it was slowly moving, some of my employees thought I was a little crazy because every time our manager, our business administrator went out, I would ask him wherever he was to buy hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes. And I kept asking him. At some point in February, my office looked like a store for all of these cleaning products. But come March, when Panama had its first case in March 9th of 2020, and everything was gone from the stores, I was ready. Our office was ready. I had a lot. And so it really means going through any challenge, it's always good to hope for the best, but you need to prepare for the worst, okay? And preparation is key. In our case, what we also did was in January, we didn't have remote work. And my chief information officer had asked many times to see if we could get people working off site. And I would always say, wow, Edwin, these are, they're in their young 20s. I don't think they have the discipline to work from home. Boy, was I wrong. But what we did was in February, we started testing people working off site, and we started moving people to do remote work. And so what happened was, by the time Panama had its really severe lockdown, we already had close to 80% of our employees working off site. And then the night that it happened, it seemed like I'm from Houston, Texas, and we're used to hurricanes. So it was kind of like when everybody rushes and gets things before a hurricane. It was the same thing that night, but we were so ready for it because we were prepared. So no matter what the crisis is, no matter what the challenge is, you always need to always have a good attitude, a positive outlook for your team, for your work family, and make sure that you're preparing for the worst, because you want to make sure you can get through it. Best practice number 2, check your engines. Just like you do before any flight, the pilot walks around and checks the plane and checks the engines. You want to make sure that you have multiple backup plans. As I said earlier, prepare for the worst. Well, don't prepare for the worst with one plan. Make sure you have several. In the case for OnQ, I was thinking ahead. We were thinking about what happens if this goes long. Do our employees have the connectivity? Do we need to be providing computers? How do we do training? So we implemented several backup plans for if this, then that. If this goes long, how are we going to work and change our recruitment system? If this goes long, do we change our training completely? How do we work training, and how do we incorporate the entire company so that we are all successful, not just OnQ, but the clients that we're serving as well? So having multiple backup plans, and have them written down. Make sure that you're writing out these plans, saving them on your computer, making sure that you're not the only one that knows about these backup plans. If anything happens to you, heaven forbid, you get COVID and you're stuck and you can't do anything, this is one of those times where communication is key. Have multiple backup plans, think ahead, and share with as many people as you can, because the more, the merrier. Get everybody on board, making sure that you're checking your engines constantly, and you constantly have multiple backup plans. Just like with a plane, a plane has multiple engines. If one goes out, you got plenty more as backup. So that's what I want everyone to take away from this, is when you're preparing for the worst, prepare for the worst with multiple methods of success. Best practice number 3, view our in-flight safety demo. Provide the tools for success, just as my agent is providing the safety demonstration in our office. I want you guys to make sure that you're providing the tools for success for your agents. And that doesn't necessarily mean their computer and their programs, not just materials. It means provide a caring environment, provide strong leadership. In times of crisis, it's really important that you are ensuring that they feel safe, that they feel stable. This means ensuring that you're continually communicating the company's plan, that you're providing them everything they need to be successful at their jobs. Make sure that your leadership is working closely with all of your agents. So again, it's providing the tools for success. Yes, it means a computer, it means a keyboard, it means everything they've got, connectivity, but it also means everything else. Are you providing them tips on how to work from home? I provide it in the beginning, and I provide this every time we send people, new employees, and we hire them. I have my own tips for how do you work from home? How do you separate your bedroom office from your bedroom life? And waking up, taking a shower, acting like you're going to the office. Those are the tips that I believe are providing them the tools for success. Best practice number 4, fasten your seatbelts. Prepare your teams for the turbulence ahead. Whether it's COVID or any other crisis, you need to share with your teams what lies ahead. And so it's really important that they understand the challenges. When I mentor other leaders, I always tell them, don't hide the scary. These are adults, and they need to respect you, and they need to respect the company for being honest. And so you telling them this could be coming, we need to be prepared. Make sure that you're preparing them. And so open and honest communication with your employees is only good. Hiding the scary never works out for anyone in the end. So open and honest communication is always the best. Best practice number 5, check the flight map. That means provide clear direction. Your teams need to know and understand the plan. As I said earlier, prepare them for the turbulence, but also make sure they know, where are we going? How are we planning to do this long term? I got asked that from my employees. They wanted to make sure they knew what the plan was. I had employees that were living in Santiago and they were working in the office or working in an apartment, and some of them really wanted to go back to their families in other provinces. And Panama was under a severe lockdown. My friends in the U.S. who always tell me, "Oh, our stay-at-home orders are so strong." I told them, "You don't understand stay-at-home orders." Panama was under a severe lockdown to where Saturdays and Sundays was completely locked down. You couldn't go out of your homes during the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, women could go out for 2 hours according to the last digit of their ID, and men Tuesdays and Thursdays. For example, my cedula, my ID ends in 9, so my time was 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. That was it. And so then the country started talking about opening back up in October. So I had agents that were asking me, what's the plan? They actually didn't want to move back with their families because they were scared they were going to move, and then I was going to say, everybody come back to the office. So I let them know, no, I've made the decision that we are going to be a remote company. And I think our quality and our production has never been as high as it's been. Our employees are doing a great job working from home. So letting them know the plan, yes, we're going to be a remote company. Yes, we have to figure out, how do we change our social times? How do we provide client visits? So we have had these discussions, and I have provided them clear direction. Best practice number 6, you may now recline your seats. This is the part of the flight that we all love, and it's because we all need some rest and relaxation. And it's really important that we remember that, especially in challenging times, your teams need to feel appreciated. This is where you have to be creative, whether it's COVID or any other challenge. Make sure your teams are enjoying themselves, you're providing them social outlets. In our case, because of the lockdowns, we had to be really creative, ordering pizzas for a virtual pizza party all over the country. Can you imagine a team of 50 plus and ordering pizzas to be delivered in cities all over the country? But it worked. We had a group of people in the office as of August 1st. They were allowed to get vaccinated. I said, if everybody in the office gets vaccinated by August 15th, I'll throw a pizza and beer party for you after work. And they did. And so I was able to do that for them. Just make sure that you're doing things for your teams so they understand how much you appreciate them. Make sure you're giving them a chance to enjoy and socialize. Here's a tip that I would like to give you. Cludini.com, like Houdini, but Cludini.co.uk. It's a great virtual pub crawl. We did it for leadership training, and we've done it for some of our teams. It's just a lot of fun. You get to do it from wherever you are, if everyone's at home, and you all get to communicate in a Zoom call or a Teams call, and you answer clues and go to different pubs in England. It's a really great virtual fun evening. Best practice number 7, crew meeting. And this is really important. It doesn't matter what's going on, but continuing education must continue. You have to make sure that you're continually motivating and teaching and training. Your growth cannot stop because of the crisis. You have to keep growing. You have to keep growing the leadership of your teams. You have to keep growing their skills. As I said earlier, it's really easy when you're in a challenging time to focus on just getting through the challenge, making sure you're just doing the bare bones minimum to get through it. But that's not good enough. Make sure that you are continuing to come up with ideas to grow the minds of your agents. come up with ways. We do every quarter, we have what we call On Q University, and we provide classes. It's after hours on a Wednesday and it's all day on a Saturday. It's strictly voluntary, but they do get paid for their time. And we have classes that do everything from helping improve your customer service skills, to learning Japanese, to helping you with your personal finances, to learning more in-depth information about one of our many platforms that we utilize for medical billing. So again, we just moved this to virtual. We didn't stop doing it because it used to be in person, but we moved it to virtual. And yes, it was challenging the first time in getting that transition. But again, you have to continue your education. You have to continue no matter what crisis you are going through. Best practice number 8, we have landed safely, and that's what we all want to do. We all want to reach our destination safely. So what does success look like? That's exactly the question to make sure you understand that you have landed safely. Does your team understand the metrics? And what metrics are those? Getting through COVID is interesting because we're not there. We seem to improve, and then some countries get worse and some countries get better. And so what does success look like for your company? And COVID isn't the only challenge. When we say crisis management, I know most of us are facing COVID right now, and I'm talking about COVID, but I mean any crisis. What happens to you and your team also depends on how do you define the end result. What is getting you through that? And as an executive team, as a leadership team, you all should be deciding, what do those metrics look like? Then does your team, do your agents understand the numbers that you're trying to meet? Is it a profitability margin? Is it an attrition number? Is it the number of employees you're growing by? What does success look like? And when you define that and you're able to share that with your teams, that's when you know you've landed safely. Best practice number 9, please rate your flight experience. This is all about QA and setting the highest standards through quality assurance. Never lower your standards during a crisis. I have seen so many companies that when they are dealing with a challenge, whether it's a financial challenge, whether it's a health challenge, they might try to lower their metrics to meet across the board. Never do that. Never lower your metrics during the crisis. It may be more challenging to meet the metrics you had earlier, but that's where it takes strong leadership. It takes planning ahead, like I said earlier. It takes preparing for the worst. It takes those multiple backup plans, but never lower your standards. Figure out, how do you work harder to meet them? And especially for us during COVID, and it was challenging in the beginning to get people settled at working from home. It was challenging when people ended up, we had employees with COVID, and so you lose that production during the time, and you're trying to make sure that everything's okay with them and their families, and make sure that their teams are okay, still being able to cover the work. But we never lowered our standards. And because of that, and because there were many times where we were challenged to really meet our production and meet our quality, I can say that our quality and our production has never been better. It's never been higher. And so I think really communicating that to your teams and pushing them through the rough times to meet those high standards helps you grow as a company. It will help your clients succeed, and in the end, everybody is happy. Finally, best practice number 10, we've added new flight destinations. This is really a great one because happy employees and happy clients means lots of growth. For contact centers, that's really important, right? Our employees have to be happy and our clients have to be happy. So if you get through this crisis and you're managing to make your clients happy and your employees happy, it means that you're managing everyone's expectations through the crisis. And when you're able to manage those expectations, both on the client side and the employee side, it means growth. And for us, and I'm glad to share this with you guys today, for OnQ, we've been in Panama for 8 years. And because of the immense growth that we've seen through COVID since early 2020, and us more than doubling in size and looking at our pipeline, I am actually working right now at opening offices in Kenya and in India. And so it's really a great opportunity, but what it goes back to is that we have managed this crisis successfully. We are not at the end. We have not landed safely. We're still flying through it, and we hit turbulence here and there. But again, we have focused on our employees. We focused on our clients. We never lowered our quality assurance standards, and we made sure that our employees were safe and happy, and that their environments, whether it was home or in the office, that they felt safe and they felt appreciated. We managed everyone's expectations, and because of that, next year we will be shooting for these awards in a newer category because we've grown so much. So let's go over the top 10 best practices one more time. So number 1, prepare for takeoff. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Make sure that you are getting prepared. Number 2, check your engines. Have multiple backup plans. Make sure that you have a lot of plans and you tell everyone what those plans are. Number 3, view our in-flight safety demonstration. Provide the tools for success. Make sure that you are preparing everyone and giving them everything they need so that you have happy employees. Number 4, please fasten your seatbelts. Prepare your teams for the turbulence ahead. Be honest with them. Don't hide the scary. Number 5, check the flight map. Plan for clear direction. Make sure that your teams know your plan and know where you are going. Number 6, you may now recline your seats. We all need some relaxation and socialization. Making sure that you are having a good time, and so are your employees. Number 7, crew meeting. Continuing education must continue, meaning keep going, don't slow down. Make sure that you're teaching your team to lead and going on. Number 8, we have landed safely. What does success look like? Have you decided as an executive team, as a leadership team, what does that look like for you? Number 9, please rate your flight experience, setting the highest standards through quality assurance and making sure that your QA is always the highest. Don't lower it through a crisis. And of course, finally, number 10, we're adding new destinations. Happy employees means happy clients, and that means lots of growth. I've enjoyed this presentation and sharing with you, so thank you from Panama. Muchas gracias desde Panama. At Panama, the bridge of the world and the heart of the universe, we are always here to help, and I hope you've learned from me, and I hope to learn a lot from you. Thank you.